Hey guys, it's HRBHA here, bringing you a new video. So the great folks over at Switchbot has sent me over another awesome product to show you guys. Today we're going to be looking at the Switchbot Lock Pro. This thing is awesome. If you're looking for a way to retrofit one of your locks at your house, the Switchbot Lock Pro is definitely one you're going to want to check out. This thing is great. It runs on 4 AA batteries, which they say just on those 4 AA batteries will last 270 days before needing to be replaced. That's crazy to even think about. If you incorporate this thing with the Switchbot Hub 2 or their new Hub Mini with Matter capabilities, then of course you have the ability to add this to things like HomeKit and maybe even Home Assistant utilizing Matter, which makes it that much even cooler. This thing will do NFC tags, NFC cards. If you use the Keypad Touch, you of course can use your fingerprint as well as a passcode. You of course can control this from your watch. They have iOS widgets. There are so many different ways to use this thing. This is definitely the latest smart home product that you're going to want in your house. Without further ado, let's dive right in. If you're just wanting the smart lock itself, you can pick it up for around 120 bucks. But if you want to get the whole bundle where you get the Keypad Touch and the Hub Mini with Matter capabilities, it's going to run you about 200 bucks, maybe a little bit under. You can pick it up on Amazon's website as well with the Switchbot storefront. You should be able to include, looks like at least a small discount coupon there that would bring that price down just a little bit. Again, if you're looking for a smart lock for your house, you're going to want to check this one out. Let's get started. Okay, well, we are going to open everything up here. Now there are 3 boxes, and since I have 3 boxes, I'm going to try and speed through them fairly quickly so I don't drag it out too much. The first box here is the Keypad Touch. Of course, Switchbot has all the information on the outside of the box. But opening it up here, we have a small box first. Let's see what's in it. Starting off, we got some spacers to make sure that you can level this thing out. 2 batteries for powering it up. Mounting screws. We got instruction manuals, and then the little restart key. I'm not sure what you call that. Lastly, we got an NFC card. We have the ability to program this card so that you can hold it up to the Keypad Touch and it will open the door. Looks like we have some mounting brackets. Besides that, we have the Keypad Touch itself, which is pretty cool. It's very small form factor. Has that fingerprint reader there on the bottom. Very nice. Next up, we got the Hub Mini with Matter support. Again, lots of info on the outside of the box. But opening this box up here, we got the hub itself. Very small form factor. Not a lot to it. Next up, we have the USB-C power cable. Looks like we got some double stick tape in case you wanted to actually mount this thing anywhere. And then of course we have the instructions for setting everything up. Lastly, we have the third box here, which is the Lock Pro. Very cool, sleek looking box, all black here. We're going to slide that lid off. And it looks like there's a small box here with some accessories and stuff in it. Let's get that opened up. Looks like there's a magnet sensor for registering when the door is open and closed. We have instructions and screws. We even have a screwdriver and a long piece of tape. Not sure what that's for. Looks like we got the full instruction manual here as well. Here is the lock itself. And man, this thing is huge. I did not realize how far this thing was going to stick out until I see it in person. It's probably going to be my least favorite thing about the lock itself. It's pretty bulky. It does have a magnet battery cover there at the top, but that's the lock. Man, alive, this thing is huge. Looks like we have one more little box here inside. Let's open that up. Looks like there are some brackets here depending on what type of lock we're going to be using and mounting this to. And then lastly, we have the mounting base itself. But that's everything that comes in all three boxes. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step and get this thing installed. So we're going to be installing this on my front door. Now normally you would want to install this on a non-smart lock because it's basically retrofitting your dumb door lock, but all my exterior doors already have smart locks. Go figure. So we're just going to replace this older Smonet door lock that I have on my front door with the all-new Switchbot Lock Pro. So it's a pretty simple process, really. You can see here I have the old lock fully removed and ready to install the new lock. And here in this next clip, I have the original dumb lock installed on the exterior side of the door with the Lock Pro mounting bracket installed on the interior side of the door. And lastly, all we really have to do is mount the Lock Pro. It has two little screws on each side of the unit that hold it into place on that mounting bracket. So we put those in place and we're done. As for installing the Keypad Touch, it's pretty easy. I didn't show all of it here, but basically I just have it mounted on the outside of my door frame. It takes two screws and then the Keypad Touch just snaps right into place. We are now ready to move on to the next step and get this thing added into the Switchbot app. Let's start by adding the Hub Mini, and then we can add the lock next. So if we hit the plus up in the top corner there, we can select Hub Mini right there at the top. We're going to go ahead and hit next here. Now it is looking for the Wi-Fi information. So remember, this only supports 2.4 gigahertz, so you won't be able to use 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi here. But once we put all that Wi-Fi information in, we can hit next. And there we go. We can go ahead and give it a name here. I'm just going to call it SB Hub Mini for now. And we are done with the first part. We now have the Hub Mini added to the app. Next up, let's do the Lock Pro. So adding the lock should go pretty much the same way. We're going to hit that plus in the top corner again. When you add the lock, you will need to be in Bluetooth range because we have to add it via Bluetooth first before we can add it to the hub. We will select Lock Pro there at the top. Now once you have removed the isolation tab for the batteries, you should see the light start blinking on the lock when it's ready for pairing. Then you can hit connect and then just give it a little bit to make that connection. And boom. Looks like right off the bat we have to update the firmware, so I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll kind of fast forward through this. Okay, now that the firmware is updated, we can give it a name if we want. I'm going to call it Front Door Lock since that's its location. As for the room, I'm going to say Living Room since that's kind of where it's located. Now we have the option to enable cloud services, which means we will be pairing it to the Hub Mini. So we can hit enable here, and that's it. Now it is asking us to install it, which we have already done. So we will click on already installed. And at this point, it is ready for us to calibrate the lock. And I'll kind of fast forward through this as well. It's a pretty simple process. Basically, you're just going to go through a process of locking and unlocking the door to allow it to go through its calibration. All right, calibration is complete. We now have the lock added to the app. Last thing we need to do is get the Keypad Touch added. So for this one, we can hit the keypad down at the bottom, and then we can hit the plus here. Basically, we just need to put the keypad in pairing mode, so we're going to hold down the two bottom buttons there for a couple of seconds, and boom, that's it. Now we can give it a name. I'm going to call it Front Door Keypad. Now it wants us to type a test code here to just kind of complete the connection between the keypad and the door lock. And then it goes through the installation, which we've already done, so we are good to go. We now have the lock, the Hub Mini, and the Keypad Touch all added to the Switchbot app. Let's move on to the next step and go over the config options in the app. Here we are back in the app on the main screen here, and if we click on the lock itself, you can see we got the status info right there at the top. It shows that the door is closed. The lock shows to be connected to the cloud. You can see the little cloud there, meaning that it is connected to the Hub Mini. My Bluetooth is off at the moment, so I'm not currently connected to Bluetooth. And then the battery status there as well. Just underneath the lock, you can see the keypad that it's connected, and then we could even connect a Switchbot remote if we wanted to. But down there at the bottom, we would be able to see the logs if we wanted to. Maybe if you were having issues or you just wanted to double check something. Clicking on the Keypad Touch is where we would go to add fingerprints or set passwords. This is also where we would configure NFC cards here if we had those, if we wanted to use those for unlocking the lock. But if we back out of there and go into the settings up in the top corner. So here we are in the settings right there at the top. We can change the name of the lock if we wanted to. Let's see, under basic settings, we can disable that indicator light or the sound from the lock itself. It does tell you during firmware updates or calibration that there will still be sound and lights. Quick key settings, you can decide what you want the button functionality to be. So by default, it is set to lock and unlock, depending on what the current lock status is. But you could have it only lock or only unlock if you wanted to. And then you also have the ability to decide if you want it to require just one push or two button pushes. All right, so under alarms, you can have the lock sound an alarm if you want to when the door opens or if the door is left unlocked for a period of time. I am enabling it right now, but not sure that I will keep it. I like having the auto lock feature most of the time. I'm setting it for 5 seconds, but I will probably actually change it for like a minute, maybe even 2 minutes, just to have it set up where if somebody goes outside, maybe to get something out of their vehicle or check the mail, and then come back to the house, that the door is not already locked by the time they get back. Let's see, you can recalibrate the lock if you needed to. Cloud services is on because we have the lock connected to our Hub Mini. Under the NFC section is where we would go to configure NFC tags. Other than that, we could do firmware updates there at the bottom, which you can see we are still all up to date, so we're good there. And then of course we have the device info section there as well. That pretty much covers everything you can do in the app for this lock. Let's go ahead and move on to the last step, and I'll kind of give you my final thoughts. Okay, so we got the lock here with the magnet installed there. So it has that sensor for the door to open and close. And if you look close, you can see the deadbolt there. But if we go outside and shut the door, We got the keypad up here next to the door, so we can hit the lock here to lock that door. And we'll just double check, make sure the door's locked. And if I use my fingerprint, which I have programmed into the app, to unlock the door again, and you can see it all works really well, very responsive. Pretty pleased with the setup and thought it turned out really well, very easy to install, very quick to get that installed. So the Switchbot Lock Pro. It's a pretty awesome lock. Like many of their products, Switchbot has done a great job with this. I think my only real issue with this lock, at least currently, is just the fact that it kind of sticks out pretty far. You know, it's a little bulky, hanging off the door there. But other than that, I mean, everything on it and the way everything works in the app, I think this thing works great. For around $200, you can get the whole setup with a Keypad Touch and the Hub Mini to give you that Matter support as well. And I know currently it's not working in Home Assistant, at least from what I've read, but I have a feeling that it will be fully working there pretty soon. I will have links to Switchbot's website as well as their Amazon storefront in the description below. If you aren't interested in this lock, head over there and see what else they have to offer. I want to thank everybody for donating to my Buy Me a Coffee link. Every little bit helps. If you haven't had a chance, check out my spring page and check out all the Burns home automation merchandise. If you're looking for the latest smart home gear, you're going to want to check out SmoNet. I'll have a link in the description below. Head over there and see what deals they currently have running. If you're looking for the latest smart window treatment, you're going to want to check out Smartwings. I'll have a link for the description below for them as well. Head over there and see what deals they currently have running. If you're looking for SIM cards for all of your smart home gear, then you're going to want to check out Eiotclub. I'll have a link in the description below for them as well. Head over there and see what deals they currently have running. If you're interested in buying and selling stock or maybe cryptocurrency, you're going to want to check out Robinhood. I'll have a link in the description below. If you sign up with that link, you and I both will get a free share of stock. It's a win-win for both of us. If you like the video, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comments below. As always, if there are any videos out there that you'd like to see that I don't already have out there, let me know in the comments as well, and I'll see if I can't get something put together for you guys. Otherwise, I'll see you guys around.